So a new discovery in Antarctica. Researchers find new life under an ice shelf, and the discovery was an accident.
This is a strange one, but when you find out what these scientists did and what these folks do, they had to bore a hole. And what they did was they took 20 tons of snow and they melted it.
Antarctica is the 5th largest continent in terms of land mass and comprises the majority of the Antarctic region. This implies that Antarctica is capable of consuming both Oceania and Europe, despite being a continent without a single country. However, 7 nations attempt to claim separate portions of the icy continent. They are New Zealand, Australia, Norway, Chile, Argentina and France, and the United Kingdom. As you may already be aware, Antarctica is dominated by the Antarctic ice sheet, the largest single sheet of ice on the planet. Despite the difficult conditions, scientists are diligently doing research in Antarctica, and many of their discoveries are scary. In this video, we reveal the most terrifying new discoveries made beneath Antarctica. Antarctica has an essential role in global climate systems. It is an integral part of the Earth's heat balance. The heat balance, also known as the energy balance, is the ratio between the amount of solar heat absorbed by the Earth's atmosphere and the amount of heat reflected back into space. Antarctica plays an additional vital part in your well-being. Since Antarctica contains a great deal of ice, which is more reflective than land or water, it deflects a great deal of solar energy away from the Earth's surface. This suggests that the loss of ice in the continent portends global catastrophe. As the ice surface area shrinks, according to scientists, the planet absorbs more solar radiation, resulting in an unequal heat balance connected to global warming and climate change. Nonetheless, this is where things become fascinating. Scientists from NASA have made the startling discovery that changes in the climate have actually led to an increase in the amount of ice that is forming in Antarctica. The new climate patterns are the result of climate change. These patterns generate the polar vortex, a powerful wind pattern. The polar vortex winds have the effect of decreasing Antarctic temperatures. Since 1980, the intensity of this phenomenon has increased by 15% during the past 3 decades. However, not all regions of Antarctica are seeing this effect. In fact, some regions are experiencing ice melt. Now we will delve further into some of the terrifying discoveries they've made. The discovery of a hidden world beneath the Antarctic ice is the most recent and fascinating revelation. Scientists who discovered the underworld had goosebumps since they had not anticipated its discovery. The ecosystem thrived more than 500 meters below the ice continent's surface. Scientists discovered a hidden subterranean ecosystem beneath the Larsen Ice Shelf. The Larsen Ice Shelf is a massive floating ice sheet linked to the eastern coast of the Antarctic Peninsula, which generated the world's largest iceberg last year. Satellite images revealed a unique gap in the ice shelf close to where it met the ground, and scientists identified this peculiar feature as a subterranean river. The group then bore around 500 meters, or 1,640 feet, beneath the ice's surface. Using a powerful hot water hose, they were able to complete the drilling and reach the underground chamber where the hidden world was located. When the researchers sent a camera through the freezing tunnel and into the cavern, the video feed was covered by thousands of tiny fuzzy particles in the water. The scientists thought there was a fault with their equipment, but when they refocused their camera, they found that small amphipod crustaceans were covering the lens. They did not see this coming since they did not anticipate such an occurrence so far below the surface. Experts have long assumed that Antarctica conceals a vast network of rivers, lakes, and estuaries beneath its ice, but these features have been rarely explored up until now. They did not know if this network supported life, which makes the current discovery all the more significant. It was like discovering a secret world for the first time. Meanwhile, other shocks awaited the scientists. When the team lowered a camera into the river, they were shocked to learn that the cavern looked nothing like they had envisioned. The researchers had anticipated that the chamber ceiling would be smooth and level, but instead they observed a roof that was quite uneven and contained numerous high undulations. In addition, the cavern was significantly broader near the ceiling. A second surprise discovery they made was the subsurface water column was composed of 4 or 5 separate layers of water flowing in opposite directions. They had no choice but to abandon their earlier conceptions about the environment in the face of this new information. Moreover, this expedition yielded additional surprises for scientists. Actually, the team had landed above the buried river just a few days before the record-breaking eruption of the Tonga Hunga Ha'apai volcano. The tremendous explosion created pressure waves that echoed through the Earth's atmosphere like a bell, and sensors installed by scientists on the surface of the ice detected comparable pressure waves travelling through the underground chamber. Seeing the effects of a volcano that erupted thousands of kilometres away was truly astonishing, and it served as a reminder to the scientists that our world is intricately interconnected. Before we continue, let's answer a brief question. Can you cross Antarctica in a plane? The answer is theoretically yes. However, there are various reasons why you shouldn't do it. As previously stated, Antarctica has an inhospitable environment and hazardous weather conditions. Temperatures there are among the highest and coldest on the planet, and merely staying there requires months of preparation in the form of specialized training. Certainly, it is possible to de-ice a plane that has flown through Antarctica in order to prepare it for the following flight, but because it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, few airlines are willing to do so. Also complicating the process is the need to account for vital electrical heating systems. Due to snowfalls and whiteouts, you must also be concerned about visibility concerns. Generally, visibility on the continent is poor. It is extremely perilous to fly a plane during a snowstorm, and it is impossible for pilots to maintain constant communication with ground control. Storms are also a consideration. You cannot even find the infrastructure required for planes in Antarctica, since there are no towers, airports, etc. You are essentially flying over the ocean, albeit the ocean is preferable because of its better visibility and established flight paths. Magnetic fields are a further significant concern. Polar regions generate magnetic fields that interfere with magnetic navigation equipment. If you could fly over Antarctica, it would take around 16 hours to travel from Australia to Argentina via Antarctica. The leg of the trip straight above Antarctica will take 10 hours. The next site discovered in Antarctica could tackle problems that are literally out of this world. If you have an interest in Mars and discover something in the cold region of Antarctica, it may lead to the solution of a mystery about Mars and help scientists. Jarosite, a type of mineral, was at the centre of this discovery. This yellow-brown, brittle substance was initially discovered on Mars in 2004 when the NASA Opportunity rover rolled over layers of it. The discovery generated news since jarosite requires water, iron sulfate, potassium, and acidic conditions to form. Since these prerequisites are not easily met on Mars, scientists began looking for a way to explain how the mineral became so abundant on the red planet. Some believe it was left behind by the evaporation of small quantities of salty, acidic water. However, this explanation is flawed since the alkaline basalt rocks in Mars' crust would have neutralized the acidic moisture. Alternatively, jarosite may have formed within enormous ice deposits that covered the planet billions of years ago. Over time, when ice sheets developed, dust would build within them. This may have converted into jarosite within pockets of slushy ice crystals. Although the process appears plausible, it has never been detected elsewhere in the solar system. On Earth, jarosite can be found in heaps of mining debris that have been exposed to air and rain. However, because it is so uncommon, nobody anticipated coming across it in Antarctica. The scientist that discovered it was not even looking for it. He was searching for minerals that could reveal ice age cycles inside the layers of the 1,620 metre long ice core, which record thousands of years of Earth's history. In the deepest ice, however, he discovered peculiar dust particles that he believed to be jarosite. The scientist and his co-workers studied the X-ray absorption characteristics of the mineral in order to verify its authenticity. They also analysed the grains under powerful electron microscopes, confirming it as jarosite. The fact that the particles were obviously cracked and lacked sharp edges was further evidence that they had been formed and eroded as a result of chemical assaults that had occurred within pockets of the ice. This discovery indicates that jarosite forms similarly on Mars. The researcher intends to utilize Antarctica as a starting point for his investigation into whether or not ancient ice deposits on Mars served as a cauldron for the formation of other minerals. He asserts that the discovery of jarosite demonstrates how glaciers were more than just machines for carving the ground. They may have also contributed to the chemical composition of Mars. Since Antarctica is covered in ice, you would anticipate that the entire continent would be pristine white, right? In Antarctica, though, you will encounter striped icebergs, some of which have candy-like colours that stand in dramatic contrast to the surrounding terrain. How then do these colourful icebergs form? Icebergs are formed when enormous chunks of ice break off from glacier ice shelves and float out into open water. These enormous slabs of ice contain pure, fresh water, since the glaciers are composed of snow that has fallen for millennia on the Antarctic continent. This interaction between the floating freshwater ice and the seawater beneath it is what generates the striped iceberg's vibrant colours. As the oceanic current draws seawater deep beneath the ice shelves, the water becomes supercooled and freezes to the base of the ice shelf. Because this fresh ice is formed from seawater containing organic matter and minerals, it gives the iceberg a diversity of colours and textures. When bergs are sculpted by wind and waves, the distinct layers of colour form beautiful patterns. On Antarctica's ice, visitors have noticed striped icebergs in a variety of hues, including brown, black, yellow, and blue. The colours tell a tale because they reveal how the ice was made. Normal icebergs seem white due to the tiny bubbles trapped within them, which scatter light in all directions. When a crack in an ice sheet fills with meltwater and freezes so quickly that no bubbles form, blue stripes appear. Due to the same light phenomena that gives the sky its blue tint, bubble-free ice exhibits a blue tint. The wavelength of blue light scatters or disperses it significantly more than other colours. When an iceberg falls into the ocean, a layer of salty seawater that is rich in algae can freeze to the underside and produce a green stripe. Other hues, including brown, black, and yellow, are a result of material picked up as the ice sheet flows downhill towards the sea. Let us know what you think about Antarctica in the comments section below.